This video is going to walk you through a couple of problems on the balancing equation worksheets you are given in class. The problems listed on the page are the numbers of the problems that we will be going over. Starting with number 2. Your elements in the equation for number 2 are magnesium, fluorine, lithium, carbon, and oxygen. Make a list of each number of atoms on each side of the equation. You have 1 reactant magnesium, 2 reactant fluorine, 2 reactant lithium, 1 reactant carbon, and 3 reactant oxygen. You have 1 product magnesium, 1 product fluorine, 1 product lithium, and 1 product carbon, and 3 product oxygen. The lithium and fluorine are not balanced. We need more product lithium and fluorine to balance the equation. Since lithium and fluorine are together on the product side of the equation, we can add the coefficient 2 to their compound to make their total number of atoms 2, which would balance the equation. Number 3 contains the elements phosphorus and oxygen. There are 4 reactant phosphorus and 2 reactant oxygen. There are 2 product phosphorus and 3 product oxygen. I'm going to start by looking at the phosphorus. There are 4 reactant phosphorus and only 2 product, so if I put the coefficient 2 in front of the formula with phosphorus, that brings me up to 4 phosphorus. That also changes my oxygen to 6. Now I need to balance my oxygen. I need to have 6 reactant oxygen, so by putting the coefficient 3 in front of the O2 molecule, I will have 6 reactant oxygen and the equation is balanced. Number 6, I have the elements carbon, fluorine, and bromine. I have 1 reactant carbon, 4 reactant fluorine, and 2 reactant bromine. I have 1 product carbon, 2 product fluorine, and 4 product bromine. First, I'm going to look at fluorine. I have 2 product fluorine and 4 reactant bromine. So by putting the coefficient 2 in front of my fluorine molecule on the product side, that brings it up to 4. Now for bromine. I need 4 reactant bromine to balance out with the 4 product bromine. So if I put a 2 in front of the bromine molecule on the reactant side, it balances the bromine. Number 9. Number 9 contains 1 reactant barium, 1 reactant sulfur, 1 reactant platinum, and 1 reactant fluorine. On the product side, there's 1 barium, 1 sulfur, 1 platinum, and 2 fluorine. This equation is already balanced. You do not need to add any coefficients to any of the compounds. Number 10. Number 10 contains 2 reactant nitrogens and 2 reactant hydrogens. On the product side, there's 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogen. If I add the coefficient 2 in front of the NH3 on the product side, I bring my nitrogen count up to 2 on the product side and my hydrogen count to 6. If I change the coefficient in front of hydrogen, the hydrogen molecule on the reactant side to 3, now I have 6 product hydrogen and the equation is balanced. Number 11. Number 11 has 1 reactant sodium, 1 reactant fluorine, and 2 reactant bromine. It has 1 product sodium, 2 product fluorine, and 1 product bromine. If I put the coefficient 2 in front of the formula with sodium and bromine, I will have 2 product sodium and 2 product bromine. If I add a coefficient in front of the sodium and fluorine on the reactant side, that brings me up to 2 sodium and 2 fluorine, and the equation is balanced. Number 14. On the reactant side, there's 1 carbon, 4 hydrogen, and 2 oxygen. On the product side, there's 1 carbon, 2 hydrogen, and 3 oxygen. If I add the coefficient 2 in front of the water molecule on the product side, that brings my hydrogen count to 4 and my oxygen count to 4. Now I need to bring my reactant oxygen to 4 as well. By putting the coefficient 2 in front of the O2 molecule on the reactant side, I have 4 oxygen and everything is balanced. Number 16 just contains the elements potassium and chlorine. There are 1 reactant potassium and 2 reactant chlorine, and there's 1 product potassium and 1 product chlorine. If I put a 2 in front of the potassium and chlorine on the product side, that brings my counts for potassium and chlorine up to 2 on the product side. Now I just need to bring my reactant potassium to 2. If I put the coefficient 2 in front of the potassium on the reactant side, the equation is balanced. Number 18 contains nitrogen and fluorine. There are 2 reactant nitrogen and 2 reactant fluorine. There is 1 product nitrogen and 3 product fluorine. If I put a 2 in front of the formula with nitrogen and fluorine on the product side, that brings me up to 2 nitrogen and 6 fluorine. Now I just need to balance my fluorine. In order to make 6 reactant fluorine, I need the coefficient 3 in front of the F2, and now the equation is balanced. Number 19 contains sulfur, oxygen, lithium, and selenium. On the reactant side, there's 1 sulfur, 2 oxygen, 2 lithium, and 1 selenium. On the product side, there's 1 sulfur, 1 oxygen, 2 lithium, and 2 selenium. By putting a 2 in front of the product lithium and oxygen, I raise my oxygen count to 2 and my lithium to 4. By putting a 2 in front of the lithium and selenium formula on the reactant side, I bring that count up to 4 for lithium and 2 for selenium, and the equation is balanced.